Die!
Shut up, I know I'm late! Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's commence this. Okay, friends, how are you? I am sick. You may probably notice that by my voice, but that's okay, because now peace shall reign supreme as the positive list starts. What a good time to spread joy and the wholesomeness to the world. Here's a picture of a puppy. Anyway, time for the best EPs list. We've got some real goodies this time. So let's cut to the chase here and talk about some of the best stuff 2022 had to offer us in March 2023. Yeah! Number 10. Remember the Nostalgia Blues? That album from 2021 that basically made me almost jump out of a bridge due to how good it was? So, she released an EP this year, containing B-sides and unreleased material from the sessions from that album. Any guesses why I'm bringing this up? Yeah, there's no way. This woman just has the hands of God all over her music. She just knows how to make some amazing experimental gems. If anything, I feel like this EP should even be higher, because all the tracks are genuinely par with the stuff from the album. The only thing truly setting them apart is that the production job here feels pretty rushed. They are still good songs, but they need refinements. Some songs are perfect as they are, such as Odum Biode. Simply gorgeous piece. But some others are definitely underprepared. If it wasn't for that, this release would have been way higher. Now, number 9. What we have here, my friends, is a great and generous dose of pain, agony, despair, decay. You're going to suffer, you're going to bleed, you're going to cry. A lot. Cryalot, Icarus, that's number 9. For the ones unaware, Cryalot is a side project of Sarah Benito, lead singer of 𝕑𝕑 Benito, a band whose most notable contribution to the music scene is the song. Pretty cool, right? Where is she now? Writing stuff like, hell is here to stay, crystallize the pain, nothing is the same. Yeah, she changed. A lot. Changed a lot. In a way, this EP feels like a mass exodus release. The artist is releasing a lot of raw emotions through the form of art, with even a concept attached to it, since the Icarus of the title refers to the actual Icarus of Greek mythology. You know, the wings of wax guy. It's cool to see Sarah and Co exploring the subject, and making it something that truly resonates with them and the listeners, and I gotta say, this thing is abrasive. If you don't like this thing, I don't blame you in the slightest. It's a tough pill to swallow, both in lyrics and music. But if you like this sort of noisy pop stuff, then you're in for some good stuff. Number 8. Time to talk a bit more about my Brazilian culture. Woo! And the artist this time is MC Ta, with her fantastic outing Meu Santo É Forte. MC Ta is by far one of the most original artists in the current Brazilian scene right now. While in theory she's a funk artist, the Brazilian kind, she also tends to dive into a lot of MPB and Umbanda music, which is an Afro-Brazilian religion that is quite common here, and themes from this religion are also pretty present in Juçara Marçal's music. In here, she blends those poppier genres with the more spiritual side of Umbanda, and it comes out gorgeous! For sure, one of the most original releases of this year, and an extremely great example of some fantastic and original modern Brazilian music. My personal favorite cut is São Jorge. I just love how uplifting and dance it sounds, while making me float along to the themes. I'm not a religious person, but I personally find the way these themes are handled with such naturally and true passion on the stage without feeling too over the top really charming, and makes me feel a little more in touch with the culture. Massive props to MC Ta for this amazing project. Now for number 7... Kwon Eun Bi's Lethality. It's K-pop. Yeah. This year I started to listen to more K-pop than usual, and while it's still not one of my favorite genres ever, I think it grew on me significantly. And one of my favorite discoveries this year was Kwon Eun Bi, which I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But she's a solo artist that first hooked me with the Colors EP that came out earlier this year, which I also adored, and it would have been in this list as well. But the one that really sold the deal of her music for me was definitely Lethality, her second EP of the second mini album of the year, that shows that she has a really good hand for mixing K-pop with elements of R&B and even some house and rock stuff. The most notable example of the rockier side is the track High, which for sure is one of my favorite songs of 2022. This is the kind of stuff that makes me understand why the K-popers are so passionate about the genre. When it works a lot. And believe it or not, this is not even the best K-pop release I've heard this year, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, number 6. What we got here now is Jess, for your soul, my folks. Sit down, relax, and enjoy one of the warmest and comfiest releases of the year with Changing Earth by Matthew Halsall. Just like Kwon Eun Bi's case, Matt also released 2 EPs this year, and my pick for this list was the second. But for a while Kwon's case, the dispute between Colors and Lethality was really narrow. Changing Earth won by a landslide against the Temple Within, which is not bad. That one is pretty solid too. But dude, this one right here is just magical. This really puts the spiritual in spiritual jazz. It's music that feels like soothes your soul as you listen. Put this in the background while you're like reading a book, drinking lemonade, or just relaxing. I guarantee you, it's gonna make the experience a whole lot better. It's a genuinely fantastic piece of music that is easily one of my favorite releases of the world of jazz in 2022. Okay, back to the K-pop. Number 5. Folks, while I enjoyed K-pop in the past, there was never a group that really made me get head over heels for them. That changed this year. I finally found a K-pop group to stand, and that is Red Velvet. And the EP that really sold the deal with them for me was Feel My Rhythm, the first of 2 EPs they dropped this year for some variety. An issue that I normally have with K-pop is that despite how some songs go hard, they also feel kinda inorganic. Like, you know how sometimes you can listen to a pop song and it just feels like it was mathematically made to capitalize on the music trends? So, K-pop is a genre that in particular tends to suffer a lot from this. And Red Velvet seems like outliers in the scenery, because their music feels so genuine. Like they truly care about giving their all musically. And not just about looking good or cool dances, which they also have a great knack for. I especially love the title track and Beg for Me in this EP, but honestly, there are no bad songs on this thing. There are just a couple of weaker ones in the second half, but nothing that ruins the experience for me. In my view, it's one of the most blistering releases of the year, and a magnificent personal awakening for me. And that's only because we're at number 5. And number 4, it only gets better with G Jones and his Illusory tracks on Illusory Tracks. Earlier in 2022, G Jones dropped a collaborative EP with EPROM, Acid Disc 2. That one was too much for me. It shares a lot in common with Illusory tracks, but the execution feels a lot more abrasive, but not in a good way. There are a couple of great moments, but I wouldn't call it extraordinary. With Illusory tracks, on the other hand, things felt not only way more cohesive, but also much more enjoyable on the ears. It's still in the abrasive side of things. These tracks feel like if they are played on a rave, the most deadly mosh in history will happen. But I also really dig how so many different textures are applied in each of these songs. It's not a tiring listen. It's always throwing something new ahead of you, and I'm all in for it. There's even a countdown in the song Patterns Emerge that works as a great palate cleanser. Like you get out of the mosh to get some water and go to the bathroom, just to go all in for it again when the beat drops. If you're into some hardcore acid breaks, this EP is all for you. Now, let's commence the podium, giving the bronze medal to an artist that was one of my gateways to enjoying jazz. You may remember in 2020, I included their album in my top 10 of the year, and this year, they show up again, here in the EP's list. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Between Two Waves by GoGo Penguin. Question: how many of you are into GoGo Penguin or have even heard about them? If you are familiar with them, then the EP is pretty much what you would expect from them. Incredibly lush and modern jazz fusion pieces that the piano is the main star of the event, going through all the possible combinations, creating multiple fantastic textures throughout the entire length of the project. This is pretty much how I would describe most of GoGo Penguin's projects. They're self-titled, V 2.0, and of course this EP. I guess some could take that as a bad thing, but take my words, it's not. Every time I listen to any of their releases, despite being similar, it still always feels like something brand new, and it's just exciting. Listen to songs such as Ascent and But Deep, and I dare you not to feel like you're in the most utopian future possible. It's a genuinely fantastic display of one of the most exciting modern jazz bands, and I heavily recommend all of you checking this out. Just like I recommended the runner-up of this list. At number 2, we have a big name, Mr. DJ Premier, celebrating 50 years of hip-hop with the masterful Hip Hop 50 Volume 1. With this EP, DJ Premier shows that he really cares about the hip-hop culture. He clearly knew that if he had to make a tribute to the genre, it had to be one of his best works ever. And that's exactly what we have here. Some of the most amazing beats he has ever crafted, with all featured guests making incredible jobs when rapping. My personal favorite is Nas on Beat Breaks. I mean, Nas is just on a roll recently, from his King's Disease releases to Magic to this. This man is just having one of the best career revivals in recent memory, and besides him, there's also Remy Ma, Run the Jewels, Joey Badass, Slick Rick, everybody making fantastic collabs, which results in this being one of the most thrilling hip-hop EPs of the last few years. And that's because it's not even the best hip-hop EP of the year, let alone EP of the year. Curious to know what it is? Well, let's give a shout out to a couple of honorable mentions, then we'll get to it. Yeah, this year was way too good for K-pop EPs. I'm still appalled by it. A really cute bedroom pop EP. Ginger Root seems to be good at this. I promise this is the last K-pop releasing here, but at least this is better than one of the Weezer Seasons EPs making to my list. Damn it. I seriously need to listen to more Marissa and Nadler. That's the more of the story in this EP. Alright, time for the big one. Drumroll please. The number 1 EP of 2022 is... Season Spring by Weezer. Ah, just kidding. It's African Dreams by Seun Kuti and Black Thought. Yes, Black Thought. The cheat code in cheat codes. The man that in 30 years of career has still never put out a single bad thing. That Black Thought. Bet you didn't know he released an EP this year, correct? Well, sorta. African Dreams is a remix EP. It's mainly by Seun Kuti, who by its name, you may wonder and I'll answer, yes, it's Fela Kuti's son. And he does some pretty solid Afrobeats. Sure, nothing the level of his father, but he can get around pretty well. And this EP is actually a remix EP. All songs in here are redos of 3 tracks from Seun's 2018 album Black Times. The key difference is that originally those tracks were instrumental, and now we have Black Thought going crazy over those bits. And it's so good! This EP tops this list by doing a very basic trick. It has 3 songs, and now 3 of these are good songs. Simply, it tops by being just an EP that doesn't have bad moments, is what I would say if this didn't have the additional factor of being a remix EP. I normally don't include these in these lists because they're redos of songs that already exist, but here's the thing. These versions of these tracks are so widely different from the originals that they barely feel like the same song. Like, if you listen back to back, you can see it, but individually, there's no way you'll notice. Originally, these songs were good, but they felt like they were missing something. That something was Black Thought. And after that, I genuinely hope we'll see more of these two together. These two need to make an LP full of originals. If it happens, oh boy, that's gonna be freaking awesome. Even more than this EP was. Screw it, I'm going to listen to it again right now. See you later, folks.